These are micro adjust belts, handmade right here in the shop by us. Premium leather, solid brass hardware, and the rounded buckle so it doesn't dig into your gut all day. But what is micro adjust? Well, the one problem everyone always has with their belts is one hole's too tight, one's too loose. These little adjustments right here allow you to adjust your belt by 1/2 inch increments so it fits you exactly how you want for the lifetime of the belt. So check them out below. Redbacks are one of the very first boots I reviewed, and it remains honestly one of my favorite boots. It's one of my most worn boots. It's one of the ones I recommend most when people come and ask me, what's the best comfortable work boot? What's a good all-around Chelsea boot that's comfortable but durable? I end up recommending these a ton. But it's not the most handsome boot. It's not the most stylish, and you can't really dress it up more than you could just at a work site or more rugged wear. So when Redback claimed that they were working on a more casual, dress-friendly evolution of their work boot, I was more than interested. I've been wanting these guys to do this exact boot for years, and so they finally did it. So we're gonna cut these in half, run through all of our tests to really figure out why Redback is one of my most favorite Chelsea boots. Does this new line of Chelseas really represent the Redback brand, or is it just another one of these instances of a brand taking a good product and changing it for mass production, stripping out all the quality just to sell you a subpar boot based off the quality that they're known for? So first, what is this boot? Well, the brand is Redback. The style is the Whistler. We got it, my personal pair is in the Ironbark. It's a nice kind of green color, but they also have these other colors. They retail for $190, which is $5-ish less than their work Chelseas, depending on which model you're looking at. And one of the distinguishing features of this amongst the other Chelsea boots, especially coming from Australia, is these are actually made in Sydney, Australia. And the way they position this product is, while Redback's traditional styles remain timeless, the Whistler offers a more refined alternative, ideal with tailored jeans or trousers for both daytime wear and evenings out. A genuine leather lining enhances overall comfort while adding a premium finish feel to every step. But first, maybe I need to explain, what do I mean by more of a work Chelsea? What were the things that I wish they would have changed early on? Well, number one is this big, luggy, chunky outsole. It's two-tone, huge lugs, and it's really durable because it's TPU. I've just barely started to wear through the outsole after years and years of wear. But because of that, you get all the lugs on the outside, the little tubing through here, these little cutouts, and it's very work-oriented style-wise. You also have the multiple panels in the upper, rather than a more continuous piece like you see in a lot of more high-end Chelseas. You get super thick leather, and it's just work-oriented through and through. But that's why a lot of people don't really wear these casually. So now let's compare these two and see if they kept all the same DNA, what's different, what's the same, and ultimately, does this represent the Redback brand, or is it just another Chelsea? Well, if we start looking at the leather first, like I said, the original work Chelseas have some thick leather. It comes in like 2.5 to 2.8 millimeters thick. It's definitely a work-oriented leather where it's a nubuck style leather. So that makes these boots super durable. It makes them last a really long time, but it's not the most refined look. Compared to the Whistler, this leather is thinner. It's only 1.7 millimeters thick, so not quite as beefy as what I love so much about these boots, but it is a more casual-oriented boot. But what's interesting is on their site, some of them are full grain leather and some of them are not. They say this one's a full grain, and obviously these two have that sanded nubuck kind of look to them. And we've talked about this a lot on the channel, where nubuck, you take that cross section and you lightly sand that grain portion to remove any flaws, to give it that flat kind of look to it. But a lot of tanners get really heavy-handed on that sanding and they almost remove all of the grain. And so what was interesting is Redback pointed out that they specifically asked them to very lightly sand it, only 0.05 millimeters sanded down. And that's why when you compare this texture to even my other Redbacks, this is a very, very fine microfiber, so much so that you almost can't see it. And that just tells me that they did actually sand it down a very small amount. Because if you look at cheaper work boots that say they're nubuck, they're almost a suede. But I'm assuming a big part of the reason why they went with a thinner leather is not just because it's a little more dress oriented, but like they said in the description, the whole boot is fully lined in leather. And that's a huge difference between these two boots because your regular Redbacks, at least this model I have, is completely unlined. And this lining leather is just over 1 millimeter thick, so when you add it up, it's about the same amount of thickness. So you can see why they didn't want to do a super thick leather and a lining on top for a more casual boot. But some people are gonna still want that really heavy duty, like chunky leather in the regular Redbacks. So then why would they add a lining? Like, what's the idea behind it? Well, obviously it's a more refined way of doing it. You don't have all these loose panels and flaps on the inside. Your foot slides in a lot easier. You don't get all the loose fibers on your socks. And it's a way to beef up the thinner leather while still covering all those pain points caused by not having a lining, essentially. Because you'll see, actually I have it right here, like look on the inside here. And this is a slightly different version than my pair, but you can see just a little lining right there, but then this whole goring flap is super loose on the inside. Even the toe stiffener is exposed. And so all that can potentially delaminate and cause a little pressure point or a little flap on the inside, which is really annoying. But it's a trade-off. Do you want the simplicity and the extra durability of a really thick leather and some potential loss of comfort comfort on the inside, or do you want ultimate comfort on the inside and a little bit more flexibility on the outside by reducing the thickness of the leather? But the biggest difference between these two boots is, like I said in the beginning, this is a lot closer to a hole cut boot because you can see the seam right here, which they've removed the backstay to clean it up a little bit. And then this single panel of leather wraps all the way down through the toe, all the way across here, and then stops right there, and there's a panel there and a panel there. Compared to this version of their work boots, you got the back stay and the heel counter, you've got this vamp, and then you've got these two separate panels here. And that does a few things. Obviously, it's gonna make it look more refined, it looks more dressy, but also has plenty of functional attributes because anytime you have an overlapping stitch line, that area is not going to stretch at all. So if you're wanting these to really conform to your foot, or you have a really high instep, a hole cut's gonna shape to your actual foot, stretch out a little bit, you know, still leather at the end of the day, and there's still some stitch lines, but it's gonna stretch more. That's another thing that's interesting about Redback is in their half sizes, what they do is they increase the instep height just to give you a little bit more room throughout the entirety of the boot. So it looks good aesthetically, but also works very well functionally. And a lot of people would say that this is less durable by having the stitch line here, because if you pop those stitches, you got a hole in your boot, especially if you don't have a lining. Whereas with the Whistler, you have to wear through the actual leather to get to the inside of the boot, and you have the lining on the inside. So fairly different right off the bat, but where the real difference between the Redback boots and every other Chelsea out there is through the insole down, because you pull the insoles out, basically the same insole, just different colors of foam. But what's interesting is you can see the toe shape difference between these two boots. With the work Redbacks, it's a little bit more of a bulbous toe, a little more generous in the height, it looks like, versus the Whistler, they reworked the last to make it a little bit more of a, almost like squared off toe to give it just a little bit more of a dressy look. Because you can see the difference there. It's very, very subtle. Just that little bit of tapering and squaring the toe adds a lot of aesthetic value to it. But what's interesting is if you look underneath, because in your regular Redbacks, you can see it's very simple. All you have is that lasting board, that fiber board, and then all this foam underneath your foot. Look, that's like, how much is that? That's like 1.5 inches of foam at your heel. And you compare this to any of the other more modern work Chelseas, and that's why these are so comfy. You have so much foam in there. There's no multiple densities, there's no BS on the inside, there's not even a shank on the inside, and you just get all that squish underneath your foot. Plus, you can see there's a little bit of an arch bump right there that gives these boots a lot more arch than most Chelsea boots out there. And so if I look on the inside of the Whistler and compare it, you can see there's a pink layer in there. And that's because these boots don't have a shank. But because this is basically a wedge sole, they didn't really need a shank in it. You're still not gonna have a ton of support if you're on ladder rungs all day. But that's part of the simplicity and the beauty of this boot. But they also changed it with the Whistler, because if you look in the Whistler, you can see that pink fiberboard. That's in there because this boot has a shank. And a shank, you can't just put it in the midsole because it's such a structural piece it'll eventually tear through. It's the same thing we saw in that Timberland, like premium boots, all that shank lip that will literally tear through the boot. And so in order to have a shank, you have to have some sort of structure underneath of it or on top of it to support it so it doesn't completely wear through the boot. And that's exactly what this is. There's a shank underneath that pink board that gives this boot a little more stability, because if there was one big complaint people had with this boot, is it's because of all that foam. It's a little bit tippy. You know, it's not the most stable boot on foot, especially if you compare it to the more heritage style where you have layers and layers of leather, that firm foundation that's not gonna tip. And so for their more casual boot, it seems like they wanted to structure this boot a little bit more, give it a little more torsional flex resistance, give it a little bit more support for long walks. And so that's one way that they kind of lost a little bit of the DNA of what I love about Redback so much. But for this boot where it has a heel and they want it to be a little bit more of a casual shoe, it makes a lot of sense for them to add more structure on the inside. And honestly, the biggest change of all is that outsole, because if you compare these two outsoles, vastly different vibes. This screams work and like aggressive ruggedness, and this is super simple, really flat. The tread patterns are completely different for obvious reasons. So that's what I want to know, is did they remove all the foam from the inside, lose all the comfort and squish that Redbacks are known for in the pursuit of a more refined, stable boot? Or does it still maintain all that Redback squish and comfort that people love about this boot? So let's cut this boot in half and really figure out, is this a true Redback boot? All right, we got it cut in half, and it's finally time to figure out if Redback just refined their classic beloved boot or if they completely screwed it up. And if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button. Check out our handmade leather goods. We just launched our saddle soles, and they're flying off the shelf because we literally made it for this exact purpose, where you have a boot that you love, but it's not a true heritage boot, and you want a little bit of that smell reduction, that shape into the shape of your foot. Throw a saddle sole in these boots, and you throw them in any kind of boot, improve the quality. So check those out below. And thank you guys for all your support. So now, let's see what's inside. So what is on the inside and how does it compare? Well, fortunately, look at all that foam. That's what I'm happy to see that, because if you compare this to all the other Chelseas that are even more casual Chelseas, they usually have like a very minimal amount of foam through the forefoot and it's still comfortable, but this is what I expect from Redback. Look at all that squishy foam through the heel, but especially through the forefoot. That is a crazy amount of foam through the forefoot. That's nuts. That's what I wanted to see. That's because that's gonna give you that Redback comfort that they're known for. Because if they would have thinned that out even half as thick, it wouldn't feel the same as a Redback. And now you can especially see the differences on the inside between these two boots. Look how much more refined and polished the Whistler is compared to their classic work boots. You can see all those flaps I was talking about, that toe stiffener, even this flap here. A lot more of a rugged, simplistic design versus a lot more refined design. Okay, I got a couple other Chelseas just randomly pulled from the Shoei Decimal System. So a lot of Chelsea boots, they're gonna have this more egg crate style outsole where it looks like it's soft and squishy, lots of foam on the inside, but it's not. You know, even one of the top competitors that's no longer made in Australia, you can see with this top competitor, look at the foam difference between there. You get even more squish in the Redbacks by like 4 or 5 millimeters compared to this. And this is like one of the most comfortable boots. People always are wearing these, they're so comfy. And especially your more work Chelseas. You'd be surprised at how little foam there is in a lot of these work Chelseas. That to me is the difference in the feel between the regular Redback Chelseas compared to all the other Chelseas. And it seems like they maintain that same structure. They even softened up the foam just a little bit by 5 to 10 Shore because you lose some of that squish by having that tuck board in there with the shank. And so they've even mitigated some of that extra rigidity by adding a little bit of extra squish to the midsole. So is it still the Redback boots that we know and love? Does it still maintain all that DNA? Well, they definitely changed a lot. You know, they changed all the lining on the inside, they have the shank, that tuck board. But the most important things to me that make Redback who they are is that comfort, it's that squish, it's the affordability, it's the durability. And to me, they maintain the right amount to make this boot distinct and different and still make it wearable casually and a little bit more dressed up, but still feel like a Redback at the end of the day. Is it quite as squishy? No. Does it have quite as much arch support? No. But this feels like a Redback. That's all I've ever wanted from this boot. This is one of the very first boots I ever reviewed. And even in that first video, I was like, it's cool, but I wish it was a little bit more like casual, less work oriented, and they finally did it. So let me know what you think. Do you think they deviated too far from the original DNA of the Redbacks, or did they find that sweet spot? So thank you guys for all your support. Check these out below. See ya. One down, one to go.